This may be the last in politics that I'm going to ever be doing or anything else. I can just see how it will go here. Um, just insane to anyone if this ever makes it anywhere out there. The future action plan is we need to shut these people down through the Senate and whatever it is, use them for whatever we can to get whatever we can out of them, and the remaining parts of the administrations, since they do have a religious situation to them, and there are so many people that do not know how to really separate anything from religious feverment, and they become sort of like their living saint deity. That's just what will happen in the at least their presidents. Even if it's like some people say, year and a half out in West Knoxville, and these people, yes, I don't care. They came in, killed some people, and pretend to be people's family. It's all just a giant plot. And I'm not going to use the language that they use because it's supposedly just teaching proper racism in the country, so long as it's not aimed at black people, and somehow white people are never able to unify since they have different denominations of churches. That there will be what is the situation. These people do need to be controlled through whatever it is. They talk about removing Nancy Pelosi and everything else, and yes, we are probably coming out of our last part of the construct. The people that are basically like whatever of Northern Europe that for the last 1,000 years Rome has been trying to get rid of, and they sold out and work for Rome. In any way they can send anything off to the principalities, anything else, and don't really seem to seek justice and talk about endless wars and everything else. And it's like, yeah, we know we're still fighting World War II. And it's like the superpowers in all of it, whatever country is considered a superpower, is really the handoff. That's what it is. It is a baton handoff to try and take care of whatever it is in this first third of a millennia and handle Rome. And it will probably exhaust each and every one of us just like it exhausted the Russians. And I'm going to do another one separately on that for everything else. And with this, we are basically, every single one of them is being dismantled, every one of the old allies from there, by different groups, principalities, and everything else. And if the United States really hasn't gone down yet over this, and is still somehow in this baton relay, even if they open up a nationalist group, just like the communists over there in Rome and the communist Roman party, it's just people that have been over there, learned whatever it is, absorbed it, and went back. I even know one guy who's left here. He's worked, he saved every dime he could just so he could go overseas and be a mobster and try and incorporate anything from the Force, the Federation, Star Trek, anything that you can think of, Perry Mason, all of that, back overseas, and has done through the different four national Masonic lodges. And you don't really understand about the culture that he has destroyed, the possibilities of if it is something of a biological nature. I mean, you don't see Arnold Schwarzeneggers on the side of the road anymore. You don't see women that are naturally beautiful on the side of the road anymore, or passing them in the mall, or whatever else you want to say, on the sidewalks, anything else. There is a lessening of everything across the board from one American group to another American group and everything else. And basically, there's not some sort of massive resolve or niceties or even I could say and argue very much that we do not even have the science capabilities that we used to have. That we told ourselves, and it's like we always have to go back to World War II. And it's like, well, yeah. Pretty much everybody was given blanketed immunity. So if they killed an American scientist and they were a scientist here that basically had the same rights as a Visa card holder for a tourist or a worker, that's it. And they'll be taking more and more off. It's like as some guy said in Great Britain, who is a very famous actor who sometimes showed up over here, and he died. It's like People only care about this. People only care about that. They care about Russian pioneers. They care about American warriors, everything else. And there's not really anything left of that. I mean, everybody's like, there's still 0.5%. There's still 0.5%. After each engagement, whatever it is that's a major thing, there's still 0.5% left. And if Biden really does represent the end of the construct groups out there going back through the Roman Masonic areas and everything, just like Trump and pretty much everybody before. But since it's too complicated for anything, there'll never really be an investigation over that for anything, even though there are constant investigations all the time. No matter what, as soon as you get the presidency, anything else, investigations start. Trump just wanted it to be public because that's what his life has pretty much been over, is being in legal litigations. So it's like, it's the media that he likes, so he had it pushed forward. And they're like, yes, media, a whole animal instead of a pound of flesh under Clinton. Which it looks like it backfired on him. But just saying, we'll be moving over to secondary tribal. We'll probably, in a way, have an encircling of China. I think we're going to have presidents that, if there is another African president out there, which, you can say Kamala's African and everything, if she gets in there, like she's groomed for the one to take over, it's going to be definitely very Indian Ocean, more Ethiopian influenced area, the Horn of Africa, I think. I think we're going to have probably our first Arabian president. They'll be more towards Iran or Pakistan in a way. I know that that's pushing a little bit away from Arabia and stuff, but in this whole situation, I think we will have that probably in 2 or 3 presidents. I think we will have a president from Southeast Asia in the Malay Indochina area. I think we'll definitely have a president that is Russian and will be probably from the northern areas north of China, if not Russian Mongolian, somewhere in that area. While I'd love to say that there would be someone that would come in here who would have a lot of religious situations to the Tibetan area. I'm not really sure how to say that. I don't think we'll have a Tibetan president. Not with how much the Dalai Lama has in this country been ridiculed and gone after, and how much certain aspects would never have the Dalai Lama here in the Eastern Seaboard and around certain Nazi groups that basically took over Tibet, and Tibet is still under reconstruction by China, which will probably end at the 119 or 121 year after World War II and the surrender of Japan. And we will encircle China with these kind of presidential situations in a lot of aspects, basically because no one will really look at Brazil. Brazil will be the forgotten area, and South America will be the wild zone. And that will just be that. There'll be nothing else out there for anything. And, I would say it really would cut off almost right at the Panama Canal. And, they can say it's like the southern part with Argentina and Chile and everything. That's just what will happen. Brazil will pretty much click off at 91 and everything, as far as this, and be the unknown relay person. And it's like, why is not China doing anything? Why is not the U.S. doing anything, and you'll just see the U.S. military obligations drop dramatically and come back into the USA, so to speak of. And it will be all to balance the budget and everything else. I mean, we will have to figure out a way how to bring ourselves back into the international situation. I know people like me will not be allowed to be in the stock market. I know people like me will not be allowed to have 4 national bank accounts within 18 months of this new administration. And it was supposed to be the third year of the Trump administration. I know that I will never be allowed to internationally travel, communicate with anybody internationally, basically. And you can pretty much safely say anybody who's making about 60 grand in New York and under will never be allowed to have any type of format or pulpit. And I know with inflation, the way that it's gone, it used to be like you were $80,000 and you were the only people saving money in New York based off of New York standards. I say that's probably 120,000 a year in New York if you were saving money, and then they'll throw California in it and maybe Pennsylvania. And that's just how it is because that's where the bulk of the population is. And we will not have one single thing forward off of this. Anything else with it, it's just, it's just PC slavery. Have better housing situations, have better situations off of that and everything, and you should really just learn to live on basically $1 a day. And if you can't do that, you're not going to have anything. I would say right now we all need to be practicing very much for everything and be like $2 a day, $60 a month. And you should have probably 2 of those days that 2 of those days a month, every 15 days or every 11 days out there, and make it like, or every 10 days. You can just fast through an entire day and have no reason, no need of food, and you just go out there and you do your stuff and everything. And that's really what, at the lowest level. And anything that is old USA needs to batten down the hatches and stop anything from leaving here. It don't matter if it's a aluminum Coke can for recycling and then sell back to the United States. Plastic, recyclables. We need to do that stuff here. We can do it just like how Rome does it, with no chemicals in the plastics or anything else. And we need to look about, and it's going to be probably a bad thing here. And it's like they're going to say that if you don't make these genetic requirements, you're not going to be allowed to have kids. And that's just the truth, because we're going to have to move up everything because we've expelled everything in war from our population and everything else and everything around the entire area. And we've changed our population over, I think I counted up 43 times with all the open immigration and everything else here. And, you can be like, oh, that's anti-immigrant and everything else. I'm not anti-immigrant. When you change a country's population over, you think that like 3 to 15% of it each time is for some reason going to hold anything for just being able to teach ABCs and 1, 2, 3 in a population. And then you look at the poorer populations, and it's the ones that are getting hammered and everything else. And then you have open immigration where people think that they can come here, kill whoever they look like, or have someone kill someone and just replace whole little towns and everything else, keep 10 or 12 kids around, and they'll teach us how to be USA and what we need to watch for television, because obviously our television we watched was a little bit different, because I thought I came to a totally different place whenever I showed up here. It's like you have to get rid of all the people that don't have 2 L's in their name, because They're British, and we all kill British in this country. I mean, this is just the way things go. And these are conversations that people have with me. And it's like, technically, under everything, if it was King Henry the Fourth or some other group farther back on everything, I don't think I'm allowed to be considered British even if my family lived there for any amount of time or any part of the United Kingdoms. Just in saying that openly and honestly. There's some sort of thing there, and it's like you can live there, but you're separate from everything, so you don't something. I mean, just being totally honest with you over that. And people are like, don't worry, I'll take care of that so you can be used for human sacrifices. And they are stupid because it's like, I'm going to give you rights. And we're going to send you back over. And you're a white man. Don't call me a Nazi again. That federal law, just because they shot someone in front of a bar in Market Square, didn't mean that it was repealed instantly. And it's like they sit there and go on about it, and it's like human sacrifice is illegal in this country. The sacrifice of a family member just means they left your all's thing under declaration of marriage or in war service or something else, and that you're not related to them. Seriously, it's just talking to Latins that do human sacrifice all the time in World War II, and you brought them here and they kept breaking out and you couldn't control anything. And it's like, well, I got a house here and we colonized. Well, I always pay taxes. Eventually it'll just go back to wherever. It's like, why do they take $25 million loans and just say, we're not paying it back? And no, go away. That was on the Vortex on YouTube. Anyway, I know it's kind of a little futile here, but I'll keep taking up YouTube's space as long as they let me. Like and subscribe. Colin Dawson. Guess we're going to be moving into our secondary tribal situation.